Welcome to Lesson 3.4a, Solving Multi-Step Equations. So what we've been doing up to this point has been solving single-step equations by either doing addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Now in multi-step equations, you're going to have to do more than one of those operations in order to solve the equation. This is something that we did last year, but I'm sure it's something that also we need a refresher on. It's important when you're solving multi-step equations that you remember that you always work the problem backwards. So we're going to undo the operations in the reverse order of the way that the problem is written. So as an example of that, if we have 4x plus 3 is equal to 23, for instance. When we see the problem, we're going to take x, we're going to multiply it by 4, and then we're going to add 3 to it in order to get our result, 23. So the last thing that we did was add 3. So that's what we're going to undo first. So the inverse operation of addition is subtraction, so we're going to subtract 3 from both sides and draw that curtain. Okay, on the left-hand side, the 4x drops down. Okay, there's nothing being subtracted from that. The 3 is being subtracted from 3, so there's nothing additional there to write. And then 23 minus 3 is 20. Okay, so now, once again, do the inverse operation. We have 4 times x, so let's divide both equations by 4. And we'll get x is equal to 5. And 5 is our final answer. All right, we're going to look at another example. And this example is 3/4 times x minus 7 is equal to 5. All right, and remember, we look at the problem and we take x, multiply it by 3/4, then subtract 7. So subtracting 7 is the last thing that's done. Remember that we want to undo these operations by working backwards. So if we're going to work backwards, then the last thing that was done will be the first thing to be undone. So we'll go ahead and we'll add 7 to both sides in this case and draw our curtain. Okay, we have, let's see, 3/4 x left on the left-hand side. 5 plus 7 is 12 on the right-hand side. And if you remember from before break, if you have x and it's multiplied by a fraction, the easiest way to undo that is by multiplying by the inverse of the fraction. So I want to take both sides now and multiply it by 4/3. Okay, so you can see then on the left-hand side that the 4's cancel, the 3's cancel, and all you have left is x. On the right-hand side, don't forget that when you're multiplying a fraction and a whole number together, that integer is the same thing as that integer over 1. So we can make 12 into 12 over 1. And then we can say, okay, well 3 goes into 12 4 times. So 4 times 4 is 16, and that's over 1, which is just 16. So x is equal to 16. Also, don't forget that if you really want to know if these are right or not, you can always substitute your answer back into the original equation. I can substitute 16 for x and see if I get the correct answer. Okay, so let's try that. Let's go ahead and put the 16 in for x. So I'm going back to the original equation right here, and I'm going to rewrite the original equation, except I'll substitute 16 for x and see if it works out. So here we go, 3/4 times 16, which of course is the same as 16 over 1, minus 7 equals 5. Okay, so let's see if it works out. 4 goes into 16 4 times, so we have 3 times 4 is 12, minus 7 equals 5. And of course, yes, that checks, because 12 minus 7 is indeed 5. We're going to look at one more type of problem and then we're done. So let's look at another one. X plus 1 divided by 3 is equal to 3. Okay? So once again, you know, if you're having trouble deciding what to do first, say that left side in your head to yourself, x plus 1 divided by 3. The last thing that you said was divided by 3. So that's the first thing that you undo. So instead of dividing by 3, we're going to multiply both sides by 3. And remember that 3 is the same thing as 3 over 1. So I can put 3 over 1 on the left side, and I can put 3 on the right side, and that's okay because this and this are the same thing. Okay, so next step, we're going to then take, then cancel out our 3's here. Okay, so that's gone. So on the left-hand side, I just have x plus 1 divided by 1, which is x plus 1, is equal to 9. Okay, then I undo the adding 1 by subtracting 1, and I'm left with x is equal to 8. Okay, so you can see that this, works out. You just have to always remember undo, and you always undo the last thing that was done first. So you undo in the reverse order, basically. And that's it for today.